Well, welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Tanner O'Brien. I'm a senior partner here at Action Coach in Central Texas. Today, I'm sitting down with Brad Whitman, who is the co-owner of LBR Homes. So excited to be jumping in, having some conversation today about business, about this crazy journey that we call entrepreneurship and the ups and the downs and everything that can kind of come along with that. So, Brad, first and foremost, thank you for taking some time. Excited to be sitting down today. Why don't we just start with a little bit of background? If you could, kind of give us the 10,000-foot view. Who is Brad, and tell us a little bit about the business.
Yeah, Tanner, thanks for having me on, man. I and my wife own this company. It's LBR Homes. We are a custom home builder. We primarily focus on performance-driven custom homes, large-scale renovations, where we have the opportunity to really take control of the envelope of an existing home, make it something better, make it last a lot longer. Um, we've been in business since December of 2017. We're still a fairly new firm in Austin, and we've grown a lot over the past few years. Our portfolio has turned into something pretty incredible. We do a lot of really cool projects and have some pretty amazing clients. So it's been a lot of fun so far, and have a good path forward.
That's fantastic. What'd you do before? So before 2017, getting this business up and running, kind of what's your background? How'd you get into this path?
I was always a part of construction growing up. I want to say fourth or fifth grade, we moved in with my grandmother when I was a kid, and she was renovating a house out in the country. And I got real interested in it. My dad was always doing renovation work for other people, and so it always had a spark for me. Right out of college, I went into industrial manufacturing and ran a cement plant for a couple of years in New Braunfels. And then when I met my wife, we decided to team up together. She had a great corporate background, running large accounts with Dell, and just wanted to get into construction. Is always a passion for me, and so left left the large manufacturing aspect of work and just jumped into it.
Tell me about that transition. So making that jump and going out on your own, starting something new. Was
Yeah,
there was there a bit of fear, excitement, a little bit of kind of everything at once? You mentioned jumping in kind of
yeah,
all at once. So tell me a
yeah.
little bit about that.
There's no sense of security whatsoever. It was terrifying. My first job was on Thumbtack, uh, and I went and changed a window pane for a guy down in Buda, and I was living in Round Rock. It was like $70 job. I think I ended up losing like $18 or something on it after fuel and time and all that. Um, but I did a good job. He called me back to do a whole lot of extra work in the house. It ended up being close to $12,000 worth of work for me over a 3-4 day period. Hired a couple guys to come in and help, and it just worked out and kind of ran it from there. Um, it was a good couple of years, of really doing hands-on work, um, being the trades, and running things, wearing too many hats, before realizing that general contracting and finding good trades that are professionals that specialize in their certain aspects of the projects, was a lot more beneficial and gave us the freedom to be able to take on better projects and give me the time to learn more of what I wanted to learn about these types of performance driven homes and whatnot, get really entrenched in the building science. And so it took a while, definitely took a while. Um, Luckily Joy had a good job when I left a very good job to move up here and start this journey. But it's turned out to be pretty successful, and so it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Well, you mentioned, a couple different roles or different hats within the business. I'm curious for you today, now being in business, a handful of years here, what role do you play in the business today, and how has that changed over the last couple of years?
So I still manage 100% of the pre-construction, the estimating, the client and architectural relationships, and then I am the field operations director. So everybody in the field is under me, in a sense of a reporting standpoint, to um, to make sure that I've still got my hands on every aspect of every job and have the ability to retain the information that I need, to be able to come in and see something and know if it's right or wrong, without having to actually manage the project anymore. So I still manage a couple of projects on my own, depending on the scale of the project. I don't think I'll ever get away from being a project manager. That's what I love. So there, regardless of how our company grows, I will still have one or two projects of my own going on. But those are my primary roles.
I love it. So if project management is one of the ones that you enjoy and may keep at least a portion of for a while. How about the
Absolutely.
other end of the spectrum? What's like some of the roles or the hats that you have to wear today that as soon as you can hand it off to somebody else, like that's going to be the first one to go?
Um, we are actively looking for a pre-construction manager, somebody that can do um the estimating for the project and get me out of that aspect of the chair. Um, that's a big deal and a big time suck for us. We're pushing $7 to $10 million a year and gross revenue on projects, and with that, the size of our team, I put a lot of hours in to be able to keep up with a lot of the pre-construction work and field management still. So that'd be a good one to get off the chest.
I love it. I love that you had a like simple answer for it and are already in the process of looking for someone. That's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about the business itself. I always like to ask the general question of like, who does your business serve? Now, the way I like to frame this is if I'm in the audience and I'm watching this later on, how do I know that I might be a really good fit for y'all services, or I might know somebody that I can refer over to you?
Um, a couple of questions there. So if you're watching this and you want to know if you're a fit for us, the things that I say, they have to resonate with you. As far as a client that's looking for a builder, that's looking for somebody like us, and what we're looking for in a relationship with a client is, first and foremost, it needs to be somebody that's got the understanding of what it takes to build a fine home. And that's time, that's trust, that's transparency, that's money. It's a whole different ball game than going and buying a production built home on a master plan community and stuff like that. So it really it takes a lot of cultivating a relationship between us. Clients come to us as a professional, not just a service provider for them, as you normally would with some sort of a handyman company or something like that. And so, and we spend a lot of time up front with clients, in our initial meetings, making sure that it's going to be the right relationship, because we're a family owned company. My wife and I own this company. We run everything, and it's not worth the stress for having crappy clients, and it's also not worth the stress for a client to work with a builder, regardless of how good their work is, to work with somebody that they don't get along with, and that's not a good mix.
So how do y'all like stand out or differentiate from some of the competitors in the marketplace? I know that Austin in particular has grown a bit in the number of kind of custom home builders and things like that that are out
Mhm.
there. How do y'all differentiate? Or why? Maybe a different type of question would be, why do your clients choose you over some of the competitors that are out there?
It's us. It is Joy and I. It is our senior project manager. It's the personal aspect of the job. Um, Austin's a fantastic architecturally driven custom market, and there's a lot of builders that come along with that. Um, a lot of fantastic builders that I would say build just as good, if not better, of a home than we do. They've been around longer. They've got access to trades that have been with them a lot longer, that aren't deviating from those relationships. And we're still building our trade list. We're refining that, yearly. And so I think for us, it's going to be me in the field. It's going to be the conversations with Joy. It's going to be the conversations with our project management teams, and the way that we run things and our transparency and so on and so forth. We don't see a lot of the guys that are in our peer group in this caliber of custom homes and construction as competition. Be honest with you, we bounce a lot of stuff off each other. We have a lot of other builder buddies, as we call them, that will refer each other to and back and forth and call each other for advice. And hey, what'd you do when you had this situation with a client or this situation with a trade or the city changed the code last year and this is the first one to fall into those codes under that permit requirement. Um, it's a lot of really really good camaraderie. So and I refer you know clients that I think will work better with other builders that may have a previous relationship for whatever reason. So there's not really any competition for us, but for us to get picked over somebody else, it's really going to be a relationship meshing properly with that client.
And I love that so much. It's definitely an abundance mindset. I think what word do we use? Co-opetition. It's
Mm,
like cooperative, but yet it's still kind of like competition out there.
right.
But I love that. There's so much value in everyone kind of growing together and being
Right.
able to lift up
Well,
one another.
and that's the goal, right? In these types of homes, we build them for a reason. It's not just to make money. It's to build something that we can be proud of, but that our homeowners can be proud of, and that they're generational homes. They're not something that you have to move into and have a certain level of ridiculous maintenance after a year or two. And our goal, one of our main goals, as far as my peers, is to educate our clients on the importance of building this way. And you spend a little bit more now to save a lot more money later. And not falling into the paradigm that just because it meets code requirements and it passes inspections that it's a good home, right? And so it's we're constantly striving to educate clients and potential clients on why we want to build better and why that's worth that for them.
Oh, that's so cool. I love the education process on that. Which kind of leads me to a topic I love asking questions on. That's a big topic, marketing. I love asking questions around it simply because it's one of those areas that, it's vital to every business to have some marketing, get lead flow and all of that. But it's
Yeah,
not always the easiest one to kind of really parse through, especially if you don't have a major background in marketing and things like that. So I'd like to just ask a few questions, kind of find out what's worked, what hasn't worked, what's been your philosophy, that sort of thing. So since 2017, kicking this thing off and now kind of growing into the business that you are today, what has been your philosophy to marketing? How do you get the word out there to the types of clients that you want to do business with?
yeah, we don't spend very much money on marketing. I have an Instagram that I do personally. We have a website that is not kept up with very well, but it's decent. Otherwise, we'll probably spend $2,000 to $3,000 a year on job site signs. Our marketing is our work and our client relationships, and then them talking to each other.
Mm.
If we tried to market and push ourselves, we'd go crazy. We don't have the the bandwidth to take on 15 projects at a time, nor do we want to, because then I lose my hand in that project, and then we just turn into a big beast of a company that's it's just a cash flow cow, and that's not what we want. Um, yeah, I mean, our marketing has been good work in client relationships.
I like that. Especially the word of mouth, the referral side of things. So I would imagine then most of your new business is likely coming from referrals at this point. Is that correct?
Yeah, over the past 6 years, almost every one of my clients knows each other.
That's fantastic. What is there anything that you're doing kind of internally to either systemize that process or just I don't know, remind folks that if y'all did a good job, make sure that they let somebody else know that may also be interested. Do you kind of have any process or anything that you
No,
notice that you do consistently to remind them?
not at all, man. We let it be organic. We really do. I don't. I ask people every now and then to leave a review, and when I tell them that I want a review or a Google review or whatever, I tell them I want stories of the hardships and stories of the goods. I want it to be an honest review. And that's very seldom that I even bring that up. Sometimes I'll think about it, but everything's pretty organic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. That's fantastic to hear. So let's talk a little bit about kind of this journey. started the business in 2017. There's been a number of years, a number of different things that have happened in the marketplace since then as you've grown a business. What are, and I'm sure there may be many, but I always like to ask kind of about the roadblocks or hurdles or like challenges or lessons learned. Maybe that's the easiest way to say it. Lessons learned that kind of stand out in your mind. Is there one or two that stand out above the rest that you could share with us on some lessons learned in building your business?
in in construction or in business in general.
Either one. Business in general, can apply to everyone, but I'm
Yeah.
guessing there's some things, even if you were to answer it from a construction perspective, that still would resonate.
Yeah, there's definitely some more niche answers that can fall in line with that from a construction standpoint. Business in general, slow down and don't be afraid to take the leap, but slow down and be methodical about it. You rush into it, you grow too fast, you get too big, you lose sight of why you're doing it, and you're done, right? Um, as far as construction in general, my number one thing in our business is transparency. It's honesty, it's having vulnerability, it's understanding that we're all people. We've got the same two hands and 10 fingers, and being able to have that resonate between clients and us. I think it gives you a different perspective on the personal aspect of why we do what we do for your home. And so being transparent, not trying to be shady businessman and pull all the dollars that you can, I think that'll go a lot further in our industry, at least.
Hmm. So when you look to the future, when you look at like the next 3 to 5 years, continue to grow, continue to kind of build out the vision that you have. What does that look like? Where does the business go? And then, kind of as a secondary question to that, how does your role change over the next 3 to 5 years?
There will be a point in time where I'm not managing any more projects. That's a given. Um, and that day is is dreaded. So I'm definitely hyper focused and enjoying the time that I have in the field on these projects. Um, but I would say in the next 3 to 5, I probably won't have my hands particularly on any project that's directly under me. Um, we have a good field management team right now. We expect that to double within probably the next 2 years, and then that will be a sustainable point for us as a business. As we sit right now, the business can operate without me.
Hmm.
It's done so. We had a pretty crazy end of last year and beginning of this year through the year where my wife and I both had to step back for about 3 months, and the business continued to run phenomenally. Our team has been fantastic, and so that gives us a certain level of comfort with where we are right now. We would like to see that kind of double in size in a sense of if something else happens to anybody else or whatever the case is, that there's sustainability there and it's legitimized, fully business operated. So
I love that. Before I start to kind of shift us into a wrap up, since you mentioned, I want to ask at least one or two questions around team building.
yeah,
You've clearly built a solid team. The fact that the business can run without you, even for periods of time, is absolutely phenomenal. What is how do you cultivate that, especially in a time when I'm hearing some businesses say, "Ah, God, I can't keep my team members, or it's hard to find and recruit them." And then on the other side, I'm hearing amazing stories where they've got amazing team members and things like that. How have you cultivated the team that you've developed so far, and how do you continue to leverage that into growing the team over the next few years?
yeah. Well, primarily we don't just sit down and interview somebody. We're gonna want to bring somebody on that we've known for a while and we've built a relationship with already. Um, but we hire from the top. There's 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 always a added value to bringing in somebody fresh and kind of starting from the bottom and training them up the way that you want to. And we've gotten there where we're starting to do that with the lower tiered assistants and stuff like that. But as far as our team management, our CFO, our senior project manager, you hire from the top, and you can't be afraid to spend the money on them, because if you're really hiring from the top, they will make you that money. They will earn their keep, so to speak. And they have a vested interest in the company because of what you're providing for them financially, from a security standpoint, but also where we are from a relationship standpoint. It's the same with our team. You know, our relationship with our team lasts much longer than our relationship with our clients do. And we want to make sure that they feel as if they're part of the family, and that they have the ability to to have that be reciprocated.
Mm. Did you have to, was that an easy thing kind of from the beginning for you, being able to hire um, really solid talent from the top and being able to kind of go that direction, knowing that yes, that traditionally costs a little bit more. And was that an easy transition for you, or did you have kind of some uh, transition to go through in order to get to that point of saying, nope, we're going to hire really good people and they're going to be smart and they will earn their earn their way back as we make that investment.
Yeah, no, we had a couple years of grinding for sure, just to make sure that we were doing things the right way. So it kind of goes back to wearing multiple hats. I was putting 80, 90 hours a week in to keep up with everything and deal with, every aspect of business management with joy, with and not just building homes. Um, Over a certain period of time, putting that work in, you you can maintain a general level of business operation profitability, and then know that, all right, I can let go of this. We're sustaining with this method, and this will be able to keep up with itself if somebody knows what they're doing. So after a couple of years of putting in that work, we felt confident in being able to bring somebody in. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, I know we've covered a lot of different topics so far in the conversation, and I am quite certain that we could probably sit here for like another hour and just dive into all the lessons you've learned. However, I do want to be respectful of time. I'm going to shift us over to a couple rapid fire questions. And these are really to just kind of pull out some additional, call them wisdom nuggets for the audience, just little top takeaways, that sort of thing. So, four of these in total. The first one is you look at your journey so far, both from starting this business and kind of your career beforehand. What would you say for you has been your kind of key to success?
That transparency. I always talk about it, but that transparency, I think, molds the strongest relationship, whether it's with employees or clients or trades. Being willing to learn and willing to teach, and transparent with that.
Amazing. How about advice? If you could give just one piece of advice to other business owners and entrepreneurs out there, what piece of advice would you want to leave them with?
Love what you're doing. If it's if you love what you're doing, it's not a job. It's If you don't love it, it's just a business, and in the long term, it's not going to be worth it. Find something else to do.
I like it. How about book recommendations? I usually kind of frame this up with, unless you've got a book that just like stands out in your head, what's one that you've either currently are currently reading or maybe have read most recently or listened to, or if books aren't kind of your thing, podcast or kind of anywhere else that you might be continuously learning that you would recommend for the audience.
Yeah, I'll be a bummer on the book thing. I haven't read an entire book since I was in high school. Um, the the I do a lot of podcast listening, a lot of research. I read a lot of tech data sheets on materials. I nerd out on things that most people probably don't care to look into. JLC Live is, really good. And then Build Show Network has some pretty cool stuff, every so often on it. And then, Fine Home Building Magazine, stuff like that. A lot of that's real enjoyable to me. But primarily, it's tech data sheets on new materials and things that are coming out, and trying to figure out, how to incorporate new technology into the projects, and sustainability, and all of that.
That's cool. I think that's it's a fun like non-recommendation, I guess, from a book standpoint. Like it's,
Right.
if whatever your industry is, if you're watching this later, being able to find kind of those research data sheets that you can like review on your thing and be able to
Yeah,
get,
that
deep
that's
into it, really understand.
that's the big thing for me, is we've got such a massive access to information now that there's no excuse to not educate yourself. If you're willing to look for it and you're willing to dig, you can find it and, learn how to research the research, obviously figure out how it's funded and where it comes from and so on and so forth. But um, you can you can give yourself from a knowledge standpoint damn near a degree if you're willing to put in the effort to look into everything that you want to know about. And then it comes to hands-on field training, working with the guys, figuring it out from there. So,
I love it. One more of these rapid fire questions. This one's just kind of fun. If you could choose just one area in your business, you only get to choose one, where you get to take a little bit of magic dust and just sprinkle it all over that one little spot. And you wake up tomorrow, it's like 10 times better than it is today. Where would you choose to put that magic dust?
the distance between our projects.
Ooh, I like that.
We've got
um,
we've got jobs from North Austin to South Austin to Oak Hill to Marble Falls, and yeah, I think that would be a big one. Save me 2 or 3 hours a day on the road.
yeah, getting some time back on that front would be probably pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
So before we get into the final question, I always like to wrap these conversations up on for those that are in the audience, they're watching, they want to learn more about what y'all are doing, they want to connect with you personally, they
Yeah.
want to potentially do some business with you down the road or refer some business over. Where can they go to find more information?
Our website, lbrhomes.com, very simple, pops right up on Google. There's an info tab on there. You can reach out. It goes directly to Joy. It goes to our info at LBR Homes email. Um, Instagram.com/LBR Homes. I manage that personally. The DMs, the photos, the feed, or just Google. It's pretty easy to find us.
Excellent. Well, I will make sure to put all of that in the video description below. So if you are watching this later on, once we wrap up here, make sure you go click the links, check out the Instagram page, check out the website, check out everything there. Maybe send them a quick DM on Instagram to say, hey, saw you on the business spotlight, phenomenal conversation. Make some connections because that's one of these, my favorite things about the business spotlight is actually connecting some other business owners in the local market here. So with that, Brad, I want to finish up with one final question, which is simply, what is most inspiring to you today?
Um, I think where we're heading in the industry, um, I I see our pipeline is 2 years out right now. And there's not a lot of folks that have that. What that means for me from a business standpoint and in our niche of construction is that more and more folks are becoming to the education aspect of why we build the way that we build. And there are more people that are leaning towards that, and there's not enough of us to keep up with the clientele. There's 35, 38 fantastic builders in the city of Austin and the surrounding areas. And we're all busy. We're all busy. And so that's exciting that the 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 shift in understanding performance driven, comfort driven homes, well built homes is it's happening. It's heavy here.
That is inspiring. That's exciting. Excited to watch just everything continue to grow, especially for you and your business. And that just based on the conversation, there's amazing things that you've accomplished so far. So watching that continue to go and grow, I'm excited for personally. But Brad, I want to say thank you again for taking the time, sharing a little bit of your story, a little bit of your journey, a little bit about your business. I'm quite certain we could sit here for much longer than we have for today, and keep chatting. But appreciate the time that you've invested with me today.
Absolutely, Tanner. Thanks for having me, man.